Hey everybody, it's Holly from Visit Brainerd, and I'm really excited to tell you today that I'm at Woodlore Cider. This is my first time here, although not going to be my last, I have a feeling. I've been trying to get here, but my schedule's been kind of crazy, so it's been a struggle to get here, and you guys haven't been open that long.
No, just about a month and a half at this point. It's still pretty new. You can still smell the paint.
Still smell the paint when you come in here, which by the way, it's gorgeous in here.
Thank you.
First, before we get into things, I should introduce you. This is Josh Gazelka, and he and his wife Cami are from the area.
Yeah.
Is your wife from the area as well?
Yeah, she born and raised, went to Brainerd High School.
Okay, so that's awesome. We love that. You have had a little bit of some worldly travels in your young life, but you've landed here back in Brainerd and you've started this business. And we just want to learn all about Woodlore Cider. Josh and I kind of chatted a little bit before the camera got turned on, and I got a brief tour and got kind of a lowdown of your story, but we're going to get into the thick of things right now.
Sounds good.
So one of the first things that I was wondering about was like, how do you get into making cider?
Yeah.
And it's a loaded question, and I have a feeling we're going to maybe get a little off track a little bit, but that's okay.
That's okay. All I do is get off track, so.
So what's your story?
Yeah, so I always enjoy making different types of alcohol, and I just appreciate the art behind it, and I have a habit of getting very into certain things, and cider really stuck out to me because it's just such a natural product. One of the cheesiest things I say, it'll be the cheesiest thing I say during this entire thing, is cider is the folk of the cider genre. It's so natural, it's so raw, and that's what I love about it, where this is just simply apples fermented, and if I'm doing my job right, you're tasting the amazing nature behind it, not what I put into it. So how did I get into it? Was just simply deciding, like, out of all the categories, this is one that I resonate with the most, but I had a lot of time on my hands during COVID. My wife was...
Oh, no way. The COVID
helped me start this. My wife was very pregnant with my now 2-year-old daughter, and I had so much time on my hands. So what any normal person does, of course, in the basement, they make a lot of alcohol.
Especially during COVID.
So I was just getting extremely into the cider, and so
Had you done any making of alcohol prior to this? You had? Okay,
I tinkered a little bit, but I went off the deep end.
You got into it.
I went too far, maybe. Maybe.
I don't think so.
So
this is kind of amazing.
I appreciate that. So I got very into it, but I wanted to make sure something that I really was actually passionate about. So we spent many more months, my wife and I, talking about it, and you'd alluded to it, where my wife and I moved around we lived in Idaho, we lived in the cities, Duluth, and came back to Brainerd. And one of the hearts behind it for us was, we love Brainerd, but we want more places for people to come to gather, to make friends, to connect, and we want to be able to bring a product that we're really proud of to the area.
I'd say you nailed it.
And that's where this sparked, yeah. If it was just me, it'd be a cigar lounge or a whiskey distillery. If it was just my wife, it'd be a yoga studio or apothecary. And so this is like where we cross over, and just being able to do this has been fun. And so we started this journey about 19 months ago at this point.
Wow, you guys have done a lot in 19 months. I mean, I would imagine you were kind of seeking out a location, you were looking for building space, and then you found this one. Let's talk about where you are.
Yeah.
Like, where are you located?
So we're just north of Baxter, right off 371, straight across from Cart Country, near the Power Lodge. And it was, frankly, a very lucky, very blessed find, because looking for commercial property, especially what we needed, was very difficult. We felt very confident in our product, so we wanted to find a location we could grow in. But that meant having an amount of warehouse space. That meant having a space that works for a tap room. And I spent probably 3 months trying the regular channels. My realtor and I worked closely together, Tanner Nordland at Parcel Realty, looking for months, looking online, nothing was coming up, and so I just jumped in my car, started driving around, and came across this location.
Was this place for sale?
It was not. It was just empty.
Kind of how it's
rolling
these days.
I pulled in, looked up the guy's tax records, found his phone number, gave him a call, and before you know it,
by your building?
yeah, before you know it, We're
I mean,
here.
sometimes when it works out like that, you kind of have to tell yourself, this is meant to be,
Yeah.
and this is the place that we need to be. So, well, with that said though, you came in, you had a vision,
Yeah.
because it needed some changes for what you were trying to do. So you guys put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I imagine, into this place.
Yeah, quite a bit. And it was like even luckier than just finding a good building and even being off the highway, which was incredible.
Yeah.
I walked around back and I was already in love with the building with just those two facets.
Yeah.
Walking around back, there's just this beautiful lake-like marshland right behind our building.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It just floored me, and I knew it was like, we're gonna get this building no matter what. We're figuring this out.
Yeah.
So when we got it, when you come to the tap room, it's very open. There's these big windows next to our fireplace, but before that, it was a call center with carpeted floors, a foam tile ceiling,
Not
and
really the look you were going for.
we could have made it work, but we didn't. We didn't go that route. So we knocked down the foam ceiling, tore up the carpets, did an acid etch stain on the floor.
It's pretty.
And punched in these massive windows, so when people walk in, I want them to feel like you've made it up north. You've arrived.
It's kind of like a homey, comfortable
Yeah.
vibe. Clearly, we chose to sit by the fireplace because today is the first cooler day
Yep.
we've had.
Finally.
So we get to take advantage of this, and it's kicking up some heat.
Oh yeah.
So it's very comfortable in here. It's just got a cool feeling.
Yeah.
And we went out back briefly just to take a peek at it, and I mean, also a cool space. So if it's not raining and you guys are outdoor friendly, I mean,
Oh,
why
yeah.
not? Quick little tidbit about that space. I had messaged somebody, I don't know who's running your Facebook
Probably
page.
me, yeah.
I messaged you and said, are you dog friendly?
Yes.
So you're dog friendly outside, probably not dog friendly inside.
Not inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a service animals
Of
are
course.
welcome. But outside, we let dogs come in. We have water bowls. We have free dog treats. We're very dog friendly here.
Okay.
Somebody
Okay.
suggested cat treats. Like, I don't want to make any enemies. So I'm gonna stop that sentence. But no cat treats.
No
are good.
cats. So speaking of animals, you guys have a little bit of
Yeah.
a niche going on here.
Sure.
For your grand opening,
Yeah.
you brought some goats in.
Why wouldn't you? That's what people do.
Who doesn't love the goats? Everybody
Yeah.
loves the goats.
They would.
And now it sounds like they could potentially become maybe a regular
Yeah,
thing.
until it gets too cold, we'll
course.
hold off. But yeah, so during our grand opening, we had baby goats from the local farm come in, and I mean, one of the goats
love
was
it.
literally 3 days old
So cute.
during this grand opening event, and a weird amount of people showed up specifically for the goats. Like I wanted them here for the cider, they were here for the goats, and that's okay.
And I'm sure they got cider too.
They got cider too, and the kids got apple juice.
Yeah.
We sold out of apple juice that day. And we're moving forward, we're gonna have baby goats as often as the farm will work with us. So next weekend, which is Saturday,
Yeah,
the 20-something.
let's just tell people to keep an eye on your socials
Yeah.
and website to keep updated on when the
Perfect.
goats or whatever activities are happening.
Yeah,
right?
that's perfect. And we'll
Yeah.
be doing goats probably 3-4 more times before it gets too cold.
Love
Because
that.
why not?
And you guys have, before we get into the whole cider, which is a total another topic that we need
Yeah.
to talk about, but let's talk about, you have a party room over here.
Yep.
That can be rented.
That's right. So we rent it for bachelor parties, groom's
Whatever you need a room
dinners,
for.
really anything. We've had networking groups do it. There was a book club last week, and then also we're going to use it for yoga days. So eventually we're going to get in a rhythm of every Sunday we'll likely do yoga in the morning for people that can just drop in. And but it is a very relaxing room where it's just hanging string lights and it's
And
nice and
a
private.
little funny story about the party room is that it was not intentionally made to be a party room. It was going to be storage.
Yeah.
But Cammie, your wife, said it's too nice to be storage. We're making this an event space.
I'm glad you mentioned it too, because if it was just me starting this, I'm a very operational thinker.
Sure, things
where
would be different.
we would have a good product
Right.
and we would sell our product, and there wouldn't be much other fun details behind it. And my wife is just a great visionary. She's very creative and really had a big hand in making this feel like a warm, welcoming place.
Sounds like it's a good team.
It's a good team. I would be very unsuccessful without her.
That was a nice kudos to your wife. She's gonna
I'm a
appreciate
smart
that. She's gonna appreciate that a lot. Okay, well let's get into the cider. So Josh poured me some samples since I had not been here yet, and I got to tell you, they're all really good.
Thank you.
And so you talk about the ciders
Sure.
because I'm not skilled in it.
Sure. So
I can drink it.
Yes.
That's about where I can land.
Yeah, so I think cider, especially what we're doing, is still fairly new, especially in Minnesota, even more so in the Brainerd Lakes, because it's, when you hear cider, if you know anything about it, you think big brands, you think Angry Orchard, you think Reds, you
Yep.
think these names that honestly is a very different product. Cider is
What's the
essentially...
difference? What's the difference between the two? You're gonna get into that?
I'll get into
Okay,
it. I'm
cool.
long-winded.
I'll let
I
you
can't
go.
help myself.
I'll let you go.
So what we do is we take apple juice that's been fresh pressed, so it's apples that are pressed, shipped out to us immediately, and we put it into our fermentation tanks.
Okay.
From there, we add yeast to it, which creates a fermentation process. 2 to 3 weeks, we have cider. So I'm saying all we're doing is literally taking apple juice, giving it some time, and we've created our
cider,
product
hard cider.
out of just apples. Some of these bigger brands, it's sugar, food coloring, extra chemicals for preservatives, doing things that aren't really all that necessary and create I'm competitive, I'll say inferior product. And it's frustrating for me where you add a lot of sugar to it that's just not necessary, where you can just simply have the actual fruit shine
Right.
through and you get all the sweetness you need, all the complexity you need. So these craft cideries that are popping up, ours, and there's a few in Duluth, there's one in St. Joseph, they're all popping up just creating a completely different product. And one of my big goals is just to change some people's minds about it, where when you think cider, you think these big brands, and you by default say, I don't like cider. So in the US, probably 20% of consumers of alcohol actually like cider, but it's because they've not really tried something like this. So one of my visions and goals is when somebody comes in, it's a husband and a wife, and the husband says, I don't really like cider. I love that because I really want them to try our stuff. I get a little too pushy, or like
Challenge
pushing
accepted.
samples, but it's so fun because a lot of times they've never experienced something that is just apples fermented.
Right.
And I've had many people change their minds. A few, not their thing, and that's okay.
Right.
But it's been fun. And one more note on it, because I can ramble too much. With cider, it's more comparable to wine in terms of production, where versus beer, because wine is you take grape juice, you ferment it with yeast, give it time, and now you have wine. Cider's apple juice, you add yeast, ferments, you now have cider. So it's in fact, my license is a wine manufacturing license because it's so comparable.
What does it take to get a license? I mean, is that a loaded question?
I'm not going to complain too much about it on camera, but no, it's a headache. I wish it was easier than it was, and I think it's worth saying that now that we have the licensing, because there's certainly a perk for me having it be difficult to get into the industry, where sure I'm going to have less competition, but I care more about wanting people to come out, create a really cool product, and share it with people, and it's just not easy.
And you did the work.
We did the work, and the barrier to entry is nice and all for competition, but I don't mind competition. With the coolest thing about the cider industry is because we're so new, every cidery is very helpful to each other. If somebody's successful in Duluth, I'm going to be more successful in Brainerd because people in Duluth have learned about this product. They're going to come to Brainerd and they want to try my cider. Just the same as if I'm successful here, all ships rise with a high tide.
I think there is so much truth in that. I mean, that's kind of happening with breweries, with beer. They're popping up as well all over the place. And when you become a fan of one brewery, you're going to be seeking out others and trying them as well. So I can totally see that happening with cidery.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's the best. I've never been in a better industry where everybody is so helpful.
Yeah, that's
I've
awesome.
never, I've done insurance, I've done marketing. If you walk into your competitor's office, they're not going to give you free advice. I've gone into, Jack Pine, the winery in town, other breweries. You walk in and they give you advice, they give you a cup of beer, and they say, send you on your way.
Say good luck.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I love that. It's
Yeah.
only going to help everybody else. Okay, so let's talk about what you guys have on tap currently,
Sure.
but I also know that things are changing, but
It's
that's
fall.
okay. It should be, because once you get regulars in here, they're going to maybe want to try something new.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. You guys have, what do you have?
So we have six on tap right now.
Okay.
We have our original, which is just a semi-sweet cider. It's the most classic cider we have.
Okay.
We have our dry, which is probably more traditional. It's, as it's called, it's a dryer.
Yep.
With that one, we actually worked with 5 Rocks and got one of their barrels, broke it apart, and fermented the cider with these oak barrels
very
in the
cool.
tank. So there's a little oaky hint to it. We have our pear, which is made again with just 100% pear juice. It's all of our ciders, just for clarity, there's an apple base, but if we make a fruited cider like our pear, there's a portion of pear juice in that apple base, and it is fresh pressed. We have a pineapple cider, which has been our top seller so far, and it is, I always say it tastes like you're biting into a pineapple.
Yeah, you can taste it for sure.
We've got our cranberry, and then I got our menu over here, can't miss one. We've got our hopped cider,
Great.
which our hopped cider, if you really, really like hops and IPAs, you're probably gonna tell me could use a little bit more hops. If you don't like hops at all, I almost consistently have people say, that was surprisingly really good.
Yeah, you are spot on. So
yeah.
I did a small sample of all of them, of all 6, and they're all really, really good. I chose to drink the pear today because that just today happened to be my favorite. I was tied between pear and cranberry,
Yeah.
but I haven't had pear before. I've had cranberry infused other things, and I
Yep.
thought, well, I can have that, so I wanted to try something new. But you're spot on with the hopped situation. So I am not a hopped, like IPA beer kind of person at all. But I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the cider, the hop cider. So
It's-
I don't know. It's crazy. You gotta try it. You just have to try it.
So to put a quick note on this, I will not do this, but I'm really tempted to make a cider and put hops in it and not tell people. Which
Yeah.
we're not going to do that, but
Yeah.
what's
I think-
really cool is with hops, most people think those really hoppy IPAs, and if you just simply add an accent of hops, it gives it a little bit of a floral note to it that is just unexpected. And if you don't know hops were in there, people would be very excited. But
Yeah.
I don't want to throw anybody off.
Yeah.
So.
But if you would have not told me that it was
Yeah.
called hopped, I wouldn't have known that there was hops in there.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's one of our better ones. And as we're getting into the fall season, we're always going to be cycling out some of our ciders, and we'll keep some of our mainstays. So the cranberry and the original, the dry will stay. Our pear, which I don't want to upset you, I know you
No,
like it.
I know, it's so
it's
good.
going to change a little bit, where we're going to add just a little bit of
Yep.
fresh ginger to that. So it'll just give it a little bit of enhancement. It'll give it some more body to it, and you'll still get very much of that pear kick, but it'll just have a hint of bite to it. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to do what I'm calling the autumn blend, and I'm calling it that because I'm not 100% sure what I'm adding yet. It's not going to be pumpkin spice. We'll add things like cardamom in it, a little bit of cinnamon, and give it some more of like an autumn spice
Yeah,
flavor
that sounds
to it.
amazing.
And then I'm looking at adding a blueberry maple.
Awesome.
This will be about mid-October is when we'll roll out these. And then the third new one is going to be a hot alcoholic cider, which will taste like a hot cider, but it'll get you where you're going.
Oh, like temperature hot, not like spicy hot.
No, not like spicy hot. So
Temperature
not
hot.
jalapeno.
Okay.
It'll be what you're drinking to warm up. We
Got
have
it.
a snowmobile trail right in front of the cidery, so come up off the trail and maybe don't fill your thermos up and leave, but
Right.
it's the kind of thing that'll just warm you right up. And so it'll have cinnamon, it'll have a little bit of cloves in it. It'll be really good.
Are you planning on just continuing to add more on tap, or are you going to keep it at a standard 6? What are your thoughts
So
on that?
we'll for sure get up to 8,
Okay.
and so by October we'll have 8 on tap,
Mhm.
and then we'll likely in about a year maybe expand that menu more. But the goal will be to be in a rhythm of having 4 mainstays and then continually cycling out and doing 4 new ones.
Perfect.
In large part because I'm just creative. I don't want to try new things.
Yeah, is your mind like always spinning? Like, what can I make next?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's tough because we make large batches, and so I have to be patient. But it's a good thing because people get a little overwhelmed with me cranking out a new recipe every week.
Right. I'm sure they're like, dude, I just got
Easy.
to know this one.
Yeah.
So when they're in the what do you call them? Are they vats?
I think that would work. We
Back
call
there?
them fermentation tanks.
Okay, when they're in the fermentation tanks, they're in there for, what did you say, 2.5 weeks?
It's a good question. So it's a kind of 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
And what's interesting about making really any alcohol, but especially cider, is it's a science, but it's not a precise science. Meaning I have some ingredients that I'll put in that are the exact same every time. Our yeast is almost going to always be the same, but the apples are going to be a little bit different because some seasons are going to be colder than others. Some seasons are going to be rainier than others, and that impacts that end product we have. So we'll have sometimes apples that come a little bit with a little bit more sugar, a little bit more acidity to it. And so the fun thing about craft cider is it's always going to be similar. Like when you drink the original today and you drink it in October, it'll be similar, but it'll still be slightly different, and that's because you're experiencing the actual natural fruit shining through.
Do you have, that's so interesting, but I can totally understand it.
Yeah.
Thank you for dumbing it down for those non-chemists, such as myself. Let's talk about the apples themselves. Are you specifically using a certain kind of apple?
No, that's a really good question. Eventually we might do that just for fun, but we use a large variety of apples.
Like all mixed?
A mix of apples.
Okay.
And the biggest reason behind that is, and I think most people don't understand this, with cider or just simply juice that you drink, the biggest thing that impacts the flavor is not necessarily the species of apple or the varietal. It's the amount of acidity that's in an apple. It's the amount of gravity or sugar that's in the apple. So when we're looking at which apples we're going to buy, we're trying to get it within a very specific spec range, and it gets a lot more chemistry.
Yeah.
It's a less fun answer than being able to say, Honey Crisp, Pink Lady.
Little Death Stars in there.
It's more like I'm looking for 0.5 gravity. Push up the cool guy glasses.
Okay, well, and honestly, it makes sense, and I get it. So it's so good. You guys need to get here and try these.
It's good.
So you guys have flights, so you can do a sampling of all of them.
So we have 6 ciders on tap. We do flights of 4, and I say it in one of 2 ways. I tell people if you're feeling very indecisive today, I can do a flight of 6. Or I say if you're feeling really wild today, you could do a flight of 6.
Yeah.
But that's 30 ounces of alcohol. That's our ciders are about anywhere from 5 to 7-ish%. I'll be precise, 5 to 6.7% alcohol.
Okay.
So 30 ounces of that's
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And it's good to know that.
yes. Yes.
So speaking of alcohol content, you also have non-alcoholic beverages here. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought it up. You must have done this before.
Well, the board's right there.
So we not everybody wants alcohol, especially if you bring your kids. Like I don't like serving kids alcohol. It's also against the law, so I don't do that. But we have apple juice. We've got sparkling water, and then we're buying kombucha from Yashra Kombucha in Brainerd, and that sells like crazy. And
Yeah,
happy
also
to support
a
local.
delicious product.
Yeah. And then
Chatted with them as well before.
Sean's awesome.
He's pretty
over
great.
there.
Yep.
We don't have food necessarily. We don't have meals, but we do have snacks. So we have, Von Hansen's pretzels, meat sticks. We have some cheese sticks as well. And then we have from Naughty Pine Bakery in Brainerd, we have their whoopie pies, and we have right now some chocolate chip cookies, just to have some snacks. We're looking at getting some popcorn from Goodies, and so we've got those. But then in terms of bringing in food, we encourage it. Because I have no interest in making food here. I want to just make alcohol. So please bring pizza, go to Sidetrack, which is just a quarter mile down the road, bring some food. Ernie's is just down the road from us. So there's a lot of good options, and I don't want to make it, so just bring it here.
Okay, family friendly in its entirety. You guys have goats sometimes.
Sometimes. Baby goats.
You have a party room.
Yeah.
You have 6 ciders on tap. Soon to be 8, constantly changing a few of them.
Yes, gotta keep some for the people that like
Are
them.
you willing to take suggestions?
Always.
Okay.
Love it.
Love that too. What else do we need to know? What are your hours?
Oh, I thought you were about to throw some suggestions at me.
No,
Okay.
I'm not there yet. Because
Okay.
I think what you have going on right now is amazing.
I appreciate it.
And I just want to take it in.
Sounds good.
Who knows? I might have an idea. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, I love ideas because we always want to be better. We always want to be the best. And we don't take every idea and say that's what we're going to do, but
Right.
some ideas are things that I've never thought of. Like
Right.
somebody came in and told me you should have purse hooks under your bar. I don't really think about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a purse kind of guy.
But that is a thing.
And so we've installed purse hooks on our bar.
Yay!
It's just I didn't realize it. Or we've put some shelves in our bathroom again for purses, so you can apparently not set them on the ground. A thing.
It's a thing.
You asked about hours. So right now we're open every single day of the week.
Okay.
Because in large part, we just want to know when are people coming because we're so fresh and so new. Right now, it is Monday through Thursday is 2 to 9. Fridays, we're doing 2 to 10. And then Saturdays is 12 to 10. And Sundays is 12 to 7. In case you didn't write that down.
Yeah.
You can see it on our Facebook, on Google, really anywhere you
Website,
Google
yeah.
our name, you'll find the hours. And then in the fall time, we'll still be open every single day of the week. But the only change will be from Monday through Thursday, we'll just start opening at 4 o'clock. But that's gonna kick off in October.
Yeah, and I think everybody can kind of understand that. To check,
Yeah.
just check the social medias and the website. Just
We
to
stay
keep
on
up.
top of that.
Yeah, I just think it's important for people to just remember to keep checking because things change. And if anything that we learned from COVID is that things change,
Systems change.
drastically fast.
Yes.
So that's just kind of my little tidbit of information for you guys that are listening and watching. So I just want everybody really to come out here to Woodlore Cider and definitely check this place out if you haven't already. It's very lovely here, and I think we're just going to sit back and enjoy the fireplace and enjoy
Yeah.
the rest of our cider. What do you think?
Sounds good.
I'm not going to do anything else the rest of the day.
All right, sounds good.
I know you're not down for that because you're probably sitting here spinning in your head like, I have a million things to do.
No, it's tough. It's tough. So I either get like in a really busy track or I sip some cider. I'm like, oh no, here
This
I
is
am.
lovely.
Like this is good.
Well, there you guys have it. It's one more way of how you come up Brainerd like a local. We will see you at Woodlore Cider.